Thank you very much for inviting me. And for me, it's a great pleasure to share and to network with like-minded people, not only with homeopaths, but with other people who are in the field of holistic medicine, and not only in holistic medicine. I am a homeopath, I'm a medical doctor, I'm a publisher, an astrologer, and for today, I would like to share with you first about Dr. Samuel Hahnemann. If possible, is it possible for me to share my screen? I would like to show you something.
Yeah, we'll do it now.
Here it is, just for a second, because I told you that I am an astrologer. This is the astrological chart of Dr. Samuel Hahnemann. I'm very much interested in his life, and I have read quite a lot about it. But the point now is to show you that he was somebody who was seeding a new idea into the collective mind of humanity, because Aries is the sign of the pioneer. It is the sign of the sower, the person who is who comes in order to show us the future, but not necessarily the whole future, only the seed of the future, only the first idea. And he was very much connected with the sign Pisces and Virgo, which are the signs of healing. And so it happens that his Jupiter is right on my sun, which means that I am very specially connected with him. And we both have moon in Aries, so I understand him very well. I feel like very, very much connected with him on spiritual level. And because he was working in such a time where there were no internet, no international conferences and things like this, it was not easy for him to get this idea and to share it with humanity. So this is enough for sharing. I'm stopping the sharing. And I would like to say that Hahnemann was not just a medical doctor. He was not just a homeopath. He was an encyclopedic being, creature. He was somebody who was initiate of his time. So he was bringing together all his knowledges from different parts of human knowledge. And he was introducing homeopathy to the world. For me, it was the right thing for him to do. And it is something which is evolving for many centuries after his life. But it is only a private case of an even bigger law, which is the law of similars, and which is the first law of, if you want, of metaphysics. Because even in the books of Hermes Trismegistus, which means 3 times great Hermes, it was said that as above, so below. And the same is set in astrology as well. Therefore, I am combining astrology, homeopathy, Bach flower therapy, etc., etc. So for me, when I hear our colleagues here to say that homeopathy is not everything, but without homeopathy, everything is nothing, it is not like this. Homeopathy is part of a bigger system of knowledge. It is applying this system to something which has to do with suffering of people. And it is a very noble thing. We have to know it. We have to be good at our profession, but please broaden your mind. Open your eyes and everything, which is even more important. When we were, if we are to discuss Hahnemann's organon, the first paragraph, he says, which is our task. It means our task is not to theorize and to hypothesize, etc., etc. Our task is to observe and to apply the law of similars to suffering people. In his time, it was easier because he was not dealing with all the chemistry which is today. There were no vaccinations as we know them now. There were no modern medical miracles in the form of all sorts of foreign to the body substances, chemical substances, which have side effects, which have problems, etc., etc. And he was working with 100 remedies. Now, the seed that he has sown, they have grown, they have germinated, and they are now growing in all different directions. And I, as a physician, and as a free spirit, and as a person who is using his mind, I felt that my duty was to explore several directions into which the homeopathic thought is moving today. So therefore, I contacted Ton Jansen from the Netherlands. He's a friend of mine. He's a homeopath who is working with homeopathic detox therapy. And I went to study with him. After this, I tried to learn everything that is known about homeoprophylactics. Sorry, because my first task is to work with children. Before starting to organize homeopathy in Bulgaria and before becoming the father of Bulgarian homeopathy, I used to work as a medical doctor with children for 8 years. And therefore I have quite a lot of karma with children because I was using antibiotics and vaccinations and all sorts of suppressive therapies with them. And I now want this to change. And now I am working in this area of supporting children's health with all possible methods which are available to me here in Bulgaria. And one of those methods are the superfoods, which comes from nature, like colostrum, like microalgae, like other supplements, etc., etc. And something which is very interesting, these are the Bach flower remedies, or the Bach flower remedies, which I am a certified specialist in. I graduated from the Bach Center in the United Kingdom. So this background of mine, which is first medicine, second astrology, third holistic approach, fourth homeopathy, fifth Bach flower therapy, etc., etc., it's only a small part of what I do in my life. But for me, the most important is to try to broaden the perspective, the life views of our colleagues in every occasion which I can. Now, I would like today to talk with you, dear friends and colleagues, about my experience with children. I have four children. Some of them are vaccine-free. I have several grandchildren who are all vaccine-free. And I work with thousands of children here in Bulgaria. What I observe for the last couple of years, actually about 7 years, is that most children, they have other miasms, not just the miasms which we know, although maybe technically or formally speaking, we can come to a combination of all those miasms. But for me, a miasm can be even something which is connected with some allopathic remedies which were used, not only with the children, but with their parents as well, during the pregnancy especially. And even if some mothers have had abortions before this and grief, etc., this can be in some way transferred to the child. My fourth child was born after his mother had 3 or 4 miscarriages, and before this she has had other problems like this. All in all, about 10 miscarriages. And therefore, when I went to Ton Jansen, one of the first things I asked him is to take a look at our child. And he gave him and his mother one remedy, which is not very popular, secale cornutum. And during the next 2 or 3 days, my son, who was there 11 months of age, he burst into eruptions. He stopped to eat, and after this he changed a lot, which means before this he was just eating and sleeping, and he was like this, very big, very fat, and after this he was becoming a normal, slim, very interesting boy. Now he is 8 years of age, and during these 8 years he has never taken any medicines, any allopathic medicines, and very rarely he has taken homeopathy. Of course, we are giving to him algae, colostrum, and other things in order to support his health. And most of all, we are looking after him very well. And he is very intelligent and good boy now. Why did he give this secale? Because according to his, it is a not well-known remedy, because it has to do very much with deep grief after abortions and after miscarriages, but first of all after abortions. Then during our course in Sofia, there was this lady who has had abortion before a couple of years, and he was given this secale almost as a specific because of the abortion. And he shared with us after a couple of days maybe, or the next day, I don't remember, a dream he had. It was a dream of a river of blood filled with parts of corpses of babies, like they show on these anti-abortion sites, you know, heads, hands, little fingers, little toes, etc. And he was, of course, he woke up in terror, and of course it was a very emotional thing. So you can imagine what is lurking on subconscious emotional level in our I don't know, maybe a being, maybe, or vital force, whatever. So in this way, several things happened which for me were very new and very unusual, and at the same time very, very true, full of truth. So I cannot say that something doesn't exist, even though some people who are theorizing about homeopathy, about classical approach, about whatever, are telling this to me. So there are maybe such sides of our remedies which we not necessarily know.
Peter, you have 1 minute, please conclude.
Yeah. And then the other very big problem today is with vaccinations, because many children get vaccinations, and this is the reason for them to start to get ill and to have many problems with health. And something that Ton Jansen did was introducing vaccination in potentized form, together several vaccinations, like children vaccinations, like different types of children vaccinations according to the countries and according to the time when they were applied. And I have a very positive experience with with these new homeopathic remedies. And for me, today, especially with children, it is not possible to work efficiently without clearing these layers or miasms or whatever. Even though some of my teachers don't agree with this, but for me this is everyday experience for 7 years, so I cannot say it doesn't exist. Therefore, I urge you, if you want, of course, I am open to cooperation, to sharing my experience, etc. So thank you, Roma, again for inviting me. Thank you for everybody for listening to me. And don't remember, Hahnemann was sowing the seeds. It's up to us. How shall we take care about these seeds? Maybe each one of us in our life, in our practice, should have, after some years, a beautiful plant. If it is growing, if it is alive, if we can share it with each other, this is a very good thing. Thank you very much, and happy birthday to my beloved colleague and teacher and inspirer, Dr. Samuel Hahnemann.
Thank you very much. And you see this plant? I hope that plant I left in your clinic, my plant is still alive.
Oh yes, it is. It is very alive. It is blooming now.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
As homeopaths, please, maybe you know who is the new Hahnemann. Have you heard this?
No.
The new Hahnemann is Dr. Edward Bach. He was called this during his lifetime. He was a very special person. He was another great initiate. And he was...
Well, I think that, we will have a special time and you will tell us about...
oh, yes.
Okay. Dr. Peter Naydenov from Bulgaria, thank you very much.
Yes. Rama, just one sentence. He said it doesn't matter, the physical symptoms doesn't matter at all. Everything that matters is the state of the mind. And he went into such great details in this, and he left a complete system which is very alive and well today, which I am using.
Many our colleagues all around the world are using this system as well.
Yes, it's one thing to use it.
We have to stop now.
Okay. Bye-bye. All the best.
Thank you very much.
Giving me time.